Nó có biết nay 611 không mẹ? Có ai tới không? Cứ kêu thầy sạc luôn.
Did you check this in? Like, I think I didn't have something last time, so I haven't taken it.
Kết nối không ổn định luôn, có bị thanh máy.
Maybe we can just start, just some unimportant statistics. Okay, so can you hear me? Okay, so good afternoon. Welcome to the first class of Advanced Fundamentals of Asset Pricing. I'm your instructor. My name is Jeremy. Okay, maybe a little bit hard for you to pronounce. Anyway. Okay, so it's our first class today, so I want to get to know more about you, and I want you to get a little bit more about me, and more importantly about this course. So, okay, so let's begin, okay? Another this adapter. Yeah, this. Let's continue with this. This should be fun. Okay. So again, this is my name. I'm from Hong Kong. Okay, so I'm Chinese. It's a Chinese name. So the family name first, Jen, and my name is Ying. Okay, so you can just call me Ying if you like. Okay. So I have sent you these slides, so you can click on this link. It's my homepage if you want to get to know me a little bit more. I graduated from Goethe, so from Frankfurt, a few years ago. Yeah, so not too long ago. Okay. I study finance in Goethe, because my research is more on econometrics. I did asset pricing just a little bit, but should be enough for this introductory course. Okay, so this is my email. If you have any questions about this course, about anything that you think I might be helpful, you can just drop me an email. I try to reply within 1 day. If I do not, you can shoot me another reminder email. Okay? Office, I don't have an office here. Office hour, I don't have office hour because we are seeing each other every day. Okay, from Monday to Friday. Okay? So just contact me through email. Okay, through this email. Okay, then now it's your turn. So I want to get to know about you a little bit more. Probably I will just forget 90% of what you say right after you say it. Okay? But I just want to get a feeling of what a mixture this class is. So I want you to tell me about your educational background. So whether you're from here or from other university. Okay, whether you study computer science, finance, business, economics, okay, mathematics. So what is your educational background? Your interested field. I suppose this is an economic program, so master program in economics and finance. So you may be interested in macroeconomics, microeconomics, econometrics, finance, asset pricing, corporate finance, or maybe you're interested in business. So what is your interested field? Your expectation of this course. So I have prepared everything, so I won't change anything. Okay, if your expectation is very different from my plan, but well, it can be adjusted in the future. Okay, and your plan after this program. Okay, so you want to go to work. If you want to go to work, what kind of position or company you are looking for, or if you want to do PhD. Okay, so whether you want to do it in Germany, in Europe, here in Asia. So what is your future plan? Share your name with Jenny?
So my education.
Also your name. Okay, probably I will forget it right after.
So my name is Koi. Yeah. So I intend to take a master program next year.
Oh.
Next year.
Next year.
I just watching for this subject.
Okay, so you're not enrolled if you're in this program? This course.
Next year.
Okay.
And my educational background is I graduated in 2014 in University of Economics in Ho Chi Minh City. And I go to work for about 10 years, and now I intend to go back to take master degree. So my expectation is after this course I will learn programming language and also about economics, so I can do the research, kind of understand the research, because I think every subject today requires knowledge to do research. So after the course I will I haven't think about that yet. Maybe I do PhD, or I go to work as maybe a data analyst. Yeah.
Unfortunately, there won't be any programming in this course. It's theoretical.
Yeah.
Okay. But I think you have some programming experience later in other courses, like econometrics.
Yeah.
Thank you, Koi. And yeah, I know you, but
Okay, so hello everyone. My name is Hui. I'm from the previous intake. For some reason, I had to stop my learning, and I resumed at this time. So I actually studied this a little bit, but at that time I didn't expect it to be that hard and that theoretical. So I think it's a good start to to study it again, because I think I really need to the mathematical things. And I think if I can, my presentation would be I hope that I can study as hard as I can, so that maybe I can teach it this subject in the future when I become a lecturer, if possible. Yeah, because I think it's kind of interesting when we can like formulate all of the like really abstract things into numbers and variables and things. So.
Thanks. Okay. That's fine. Just your name.
Just D.
Sorry?
D.
D.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. And
My name is Lin.
Lynn.
Lin.
Lynn.
Yeah, you can call me like Link. It's okay.
Okay. Okay.
My background is about it. I graduated from University of Technology in Sydney, and my background is about business administration. After I graduated, I have like one year working in marketing field, and after that, I joined to KPMG Vietnam and work as data analyst. And after 1 year working in KPMG Vietnam, I found that I have interest in finance field. Also, I also have experience working as tutor when I'm in university. Yeah, so two reasons I want to be a lecturer in finance. Yeah, and also I would like to do research. Yeah, so my career path in the future is for sure PhD in international culture.
I think
Yes, we met last year.
yeah.
Yes.
Are you also taking it this course?
Yes.
Okay.
I learned something maybe 2 days. Experience class, same as
I see.
here. And finally I got this program.
Okay.
Yeah, my name is Juan. On. Yeah, sounds like number 1 in English.
Okay.
Yeah.
Chiếu là gì hả?
Cái máy chiếu nó có việc việc có lúc thì nó vô lúc thì nó ra. Đúng rồi. Khi check nó lúc có rồi đó. Dạ, cảm ơn chú. Yes. I got the bachelor degrees in finance in 2013. But by chance, so I take another field in manufacturing company during 10 years. And most of the knowledge about finance is faded. But I recognize the importance of the finance, and I get back to keep studying this field. And thank you so much for being here with us today to share about self pricing. I think it's a exciting subject, and so we're waiting for if we can't wait to yeah, thank you.
Thank you. You don't need much background in finance for this course. It's very fun. And friends? Okay. Okay, so don't spread rumors, okay? Don't spread rumors. Don't tell it. Okay. Thank you.
Hello. Teachers, my name is Ho, but Ho. Yeah, but the English name is Joe, or the Chinese name is Shu. You can call me Shu because my grandma has a half of Chinese, so I can say a little bit quite much. I graduated in BA with a concentration in finance in August 2024. But because graduating BA, so the knowledge in finance is not hard enough for me to go out to work. That's the reason why I joined here right after I graduated in university. And I haven't had a long-term goal yet, but I think I need to have a comprehensive foundation before I decided to go out and do anything.
Okay, great, thanks.
I graduated from Student TSO, the Student School of Economics from Law Economics and Management. And after 5 years for working, I am trying to say recovery about fulfill my economics from I studied from my university to working, but I'm currently just take over and this patient for studying and discovery and choose the program. That's the reason why I been here and thank you for the presentation as a advisor.
Thank you.
Hello, Professor. Actually, this is not my first time at VTU because I was a finance and accounting student of InTech 2020, like my friend here. And I graduated half a year ago in July 2024. And like my friends, I decided to go straight to master's to improve my knowledge about economics and finance. Although my program was finance and accounting, I feel like that my knowledge was not enough. So I want to learn more advanced things to improve both my knowledge and my future career. My expectation for this course is that I can improve my thinking and my critical thinking skills. And something like I can apply the knowledge to different scenarios in reality. And my future career path, maybe I will pursue my PhD in Germany.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Learn a little bit more about you. And well, about this course, this is a very theoretical course, so it's preparing you to academia more than to practice. Okay, unfortunately. So, about this course is Advanced Fundamentals of Asset Pricing. So everyone is in the right room, right? If it's not, then it's time for you to leave. So this is Asset Pricing course description. Again, this is about theoretical tools and results in asset pricing and portfolio choice. And in this course, we will cover both static and dynamic asset pricing model in discrete time. Okay, so in asset pricing, we have continuous time asset pricing, we have discrete time asset pricing. Continuous time means, so time is continuous. Discrete time means we are doing decision today, then we do nothing, and wait for tomorrow. Okay, so it is discrete time. Continuous time finance is usually more beautiful mathematically, but it's also mathematically more involved. Okay, so here we will only focus on discrete time models. So this course is called Advanced Fundamentals of Asset Pricing. It should be your third or fourth course here. So your fourth Advanced Fundamental course. So what does Advanced Fundamental means to you? Okay, so what is Advanced Fundamental? So that's the question I asked Professor Binder when he approached me. What is Advanced Fundamental? How can it be advanced and at the same time fundamental? So what does it mean to you?
I think it's kind of basic, but it's important to learn.
Yeah, so it's fundamental.
Yeah.
That's fundamental part. And where is the advanced part? So as I just said, when Professor Daniel approached me, he told me that this program is a little bit different from other master program in Vietnam, or actually in the world. It's kind of different from the Toastmaster program in that it is preparing you for advanced studies, okay, for doctoral studies, okay. So this is the advanced part. I'm not teaching you things, materials that I will teach to undergraduate students, okay. After this course, I hope that you will be able to read academic paper. Okay, so this is the advanced part. But this is your first course in theoretical asset pricing. So I cannot teach you the state-of-the-art model. I cannot just give you a paper published last week and ask you to understand. Okay, so I'm only teaching you the fundamentals, okay, the tools that help you to understand the papers, okay, that help you go through the derivation, but I will not teach you the latest thing, okay? And that's what advanced fundamental means to me. And asset pricing. Let's go through the boring stuff first, okay? Logistics. Exam, tentative. If you want to change the dates, you can just tell me. So you decide together and tell me. I will tell the exam office if you want to change the exam dates. It's fine with me. But for now, it's after the holiday. Okay. It's 90 minutes. I think it's standard. Grade decomposition, everything comes from the exam. So there will be assignments. I will give you assignments. You don't have to do it. You don't have to hand it to me. I won't check it. I won't grade your assignments. You just look at it. You just read the assignments by yourself. Try to do it. I will give you the solution. Usually the day after I give you the assignment, I will discuss the solution with you together. Participation 0%. Okay, so I don't mind if you don't come. Okay, if you think, okay, it's boring stuff, too simple for me, then fine. Okay, it doesn't really matter. Okay, so this is exam. Okay, classroom rule number 1. Okay, there's one and only classroom rule. We are all adults. Okay, we are all grown up. Okay, so there won't be any other rules. You can eat here. You can come late. You can go to the toilet without asking me. You can talk with your neighbor. You can play with your computer. I don't mind. So there's no other rules. Just one rule. No stupid questions. Okay. So just to know what I mean. Okay. So these slides I borrowed from a professor I had when I was in my undergraduate. Okay. So what does it mean? No stupid question. So what does it mean? No stupid question.
It means like even though you may feel hesitant to ask any questions, so I think it's also helpful for us to say something because like even though we might get it wrong, but like it can open up to one person thing to discover. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm nice. Okay, I'm a nice person. Okay. So no stupid question. Literally, there is no stupid question. So feel free to ask whatever comes to your mind. You may think it's stupid. I may embarrass myself, but yeah, most probably your neighbor has the same question as you do. So just ask whenever you have a question. Okay. So syllabus. Just now we talked about this course. We say that we will have static and dynamic asset pricing model in discrete time. So basically we can separate this course into two parts, static part and dynamic part. It's just some fancy word for one period and multi-period. Okay, so static as a pricing model means there is only one period in the model. Okay, so we have, or an agent has some information at the beginning of the period. Okay, he or she just make decisions and they wait. Okay, and they wait for the outcome at the end of this period. And that's all. Okay, for the static as a pricing model. For dynamic as a pricing model, you have multiple periods. Okay, so an agent has some information at the beginning of the first period. He made a decision, and after he made a decision, he waits for the end of the period, and he updates his information. Okay, and he made another decision, so on and so forth. Okay, so this is dynamic asset pricing. So they're more or less the same thing, quite different mathematically, but the concept-wise is more or less the same thing. Okay. In more details, today we will talk about utility and risk aversion. So most of you have background in economics and finance. So how do we model decision making, okay, the process of decision making? In asset pricing, you are the agent, so you are pricing an asset. Okay, and then you make decision on what you think is worthy to buy. Okay, and you make decision on what to sell. So you are making decision. How do we model decision making in economics? How do we model decision making? How do we make decision? When we make decision, we don't just randomly make a decision. Okay, we make an optimal decision. We assume that a person is rational. So given some information, he will try to make a decision that is the best for himself or herself. Okay? So the person needs to make an optimal decision. Okay? So optimal is a mathematical word from optimization. So this agent is solving an optimization problem. So what is he or she optimizing? What is he or she optimizing? Profits, so return in investment. Can one maximize his return? Can I maximize my return? How? Today I look at the stock market. What should I buy?
So try to choose the highest return stock.
Yeah, I won't be here if I'm able to do it. I will be sitting at home in front of my computer, okay, buying other high return stocks. Okay, it is not possible for most of us, okay, to choose just the highest return stock. Okay, I cannot go back to a few years back, buy Bitcoin, okay, buy Tesla. No, I cannot. Okay, so we cannot make this optimal decision. We cannot maximize our return because there is randomness. Okay, there is risk. Okay, and that's where the second part of the first bullet point comes from. We have risk aversion. Okay, when we evaluate an investment opportunity, we don't just look at the expected return. We have to look at its risk. Okay, and how does risk affect our decision? Okay, so we have to do some optimization over some random outcome. Okay, so we have to invent a function. So what we are doing here is abstract mathematical. So we have to think in a mathematical way. Okay, so we have to formulate an optimization problem And this function, this should be a function of some random outcome. Okay? And what is this function? We call this function the utility function. Okay? If you study microeconomics, Micro 101, you will learn what utility is. Okay? We consume an apple, we have some utility, we consume another, we have some extra utility. Okay? So we will learn more about utility and risk aversion, and this can show you how one should choose an optimal portfolio under some assumptions. Okay? And under some assumption, we can simplify this process of choosing an optimal portfolio. Okay? An optimal portfolio is an optimal decision of investment. Okay? What you should buy. Okay? In what rate at the beginning of the period. It's the second part. It's modern portfolio theory, but it's not modern anymore because it was around since the 50s. Okay? So it's called modern portfolio theory. It's one of the simplest way we can take into account risk, okay, and make an optimal decision on portfolio, okay, on forming portfolio. So this is from the investor side, okay. We, as an investor, we look at the market, we gather some information, we make a decision, okay. We form some expectation, we do some valuation, so we are pricing an asset. I think Tesla should be worth $300 US. Then I decide whether to buy or to sell. But this is just me. I cannot price, so I can price an asset by evaluating it, by having a price in my mind, but I cannot force you to have the same idea as I do. Okay? So I cannot price it in the sense that if I think it is worth $300, in the market, when I look at stock market, it's maybe $250. So I cannot price it in that sense, okay? So the third part, capital asset pricing model, it prices an asset from the market point of view, okay? Everyone, if every investor has the same information, they make the same, more or less the same decision, okay, as what we learned in the second part, then what will happen in the market, okay? So it is an equilibrium model. The second part is kind of what an investor should do. It is just about one investor. The third part, capital asset pricing model, it is about the market. It is an equilibrium model. If everyone is doing something, following the same pattern, then what would happen when the market is clear? Okay? And this capital asset pricing model is probably the single most popular model in finance. Okay? So if you look at the stock market, you may see something called beta, you may see something called alpha, and this comes from capital asset pricing model. Okay? This is a very simple stuff. Okay, but yeah, people look at it and people still use it. Next, arbitrage pricing theory. It is another way of clearing the market. Okay, in CAPM we are clearing the market by dominance. Okay, so when more people think, if you can hear me, then I just okay. The capital asset pricing model is about market forces, demand and supply. Okay, when more people think that an asset should be worth more, so more people buy it, so more buy order and sell order, then the price goes up. Okay, and after some time it goes to equilibrium. So it is an equilibrium model. Arbitrage pricing theory did more or less the same thing, but with arbitrage. Okay, so in this model we assume that there are several driving forces. Okay, in the financial markets. Okay? And if we can average out all the risk, okay, then we should not have any extra return. Okay, so this is the core idea in the arbitrage pricing theory. If we can find some extra return after we control all the risk, so we're not taking risk, but we still can get some return, then we have this arbitrage opportunity. Okay, so it's free money. So we will be buying a lot of this free money. We will be getting all this free money by forming a very large portfolio, and we are driving the price back to its fair price. Okay, so it's a kind of a different way of modeling this market clearing condition. So up to now, up to this fourth point, we are only talking about the statistical, we are only talking about the price or the return from a statistical point of view. Okay? Because in portfolio theory, modern portfolio theory, we only look at this statistical property of the return. Okay? And nowadays we do not do it this way. Okay? Nowadays we look at this discount factor, stochastic discount factor. So some of you have a BA, business administration background. Some of you studied finance before.
Yes, finance corporate.
Yeah. So in corporate finance, we do valuation, right? How do we do valuation? We have some future cash flow, and we have to evaluate this future cash flow. We have to discount them back to current value. Okay? Because we have time value of money, etc., etc. So we have to discount future cash flow. But future cash flow in stock market is random. Okay, so we cannot just discount it with some deterministic return. Okay, each and every stock asset is different from each other. We cannot discount them all the same. Okay, so in order to discount this random future cash flow, we invented something which is also random. Okay, called stochastic discount factor. Okay, with this stochastic discount factor, some random variable, we can price or we can discount all future cash flow. Okay, so these are the static asset pricing part. And after we learn this basic stuff, we can very easily extend the concept at least to dynamic setting. Okay. Dynamic setting is different from static one in the sense that at the beginning, in static asset pricing, we only need to make one decision. Okay, we want to maximize our utility at the end of the period. Okay, but in dynamic asset pricing, it is slightly different because today, when I'm making a decision, I have to think about the opportunity I will have tomorrow. Okay? I cannot just make a decision that maximizes the period end utility. Okay? Because I will have to leave something because I have to make another decision tomorrow. Okay? I have to take into account what decision I can make tomorrow. Okay? So that's the difficult part in dynamic asset pricing, and and here we will use a technique called dynamic programming. Okay, it is not very difficult. Okay, so that's about the syllabus. Any question? References. Most parts of this course, we will use the first textbook. So basically, you don't need to read them if you can understand what I'm talking in class. You don't have to read them. If you find it very difficult to understand, so I'm not presenting it clearly, okay, then you can look at the first book. This investment book is about the second to the fourth point. Okay, model portfolio theory, capital asset pricing model, and arbitrage pricing theory. They comes from this investment book. Okay, so this investment book is closer to reality. Okay, so if you want to do CFA, then you have to read this book. Okay, so it is closer to reality. The other books are purely academic. Okay, and most parts, and that's the largest part we're doing in this course. Okay. So the first book and main reference, and the first book and the first main. Okay. So in this course we will talk about a lot of models. Okay, or in academic, we are doing a lot of modeling. Okay. So what is financial modeling? What is financial modeling? So what is a model? Can you name some examples of models? OLS is a statistical model. Yeah, it is model. Sorry? Gauge. Yeah, authoritative model. So they are all models in mathematic way. And this is a model. Is this a model? Yeah, is this a model? This is a model of car. So this is a model of a thing. This is a model. Okay, when we build a house, you have to do some 3D modeling. Okay. And this is a model. So this is a binomial tree model. We're not going to talk about this model in this course. So if you do derivative in option pricing, you will see it again. So all of these are models. We have cars, we have paint, we have buildings, we have some formulas. So what are the commonality among these models? What are common? Yeah.
So I think the model is simple. All of the thing contains all the characteristics of the true thing and can represent for the true thing. That is set the return on the residual or the risk. I think so.
The last sentence again.
It can represent for the true thing, for the true the whole thing. If we can control or we can minimize the residuals or the risk.
Okay. Very close. So there's no official definition of model. So what is model? Like what you said, model is a simplified version of the reality. Okay? In all these examples, we have something in the real world, right? We have a real car, we have assets, price in the real world, but it is too complicated for some purposes. Okay? If we want to study the lean dynamics of this car, we don't need an engine. Okay? If we want to see the design of a building, we don't need the bricks. Okay? We don't need to really build it. And if we want to look at some characteristic of the financial market, we don't have to know every single details about the market. Okay, so what we are doing is we are simplifying, we are presenting this complicated object in real life with some abstract terms. Okay? And financial modeling is just a simplified version of the financial market. Okay? we try to catch something that matters, that we want to study. And as you just said, we control other things, we just abstract them, we just assume they're not there. Okay? And this is financial model. So we're not doing all of them, we're just doing portfolio management and asset class. So, if there's only one thing you take away with you after this course, I want you to remember this. Okay? So many people would say that academia is, wrong, something unimportant, because we are far away from reality. Okay? When you look at the paper, when you read the papers, you will have this feeling. Okay? The more you read, the more you feel that way. Okay? It is unimportant. It has nothing to do with reality. But is it true? Why are people doing things? Why are governments, institutions, banks spending so much money for us, for researchers, to do things that is unrealistic? Okay, because part of it is true. Okay? And we try, as a researcher, what we're doing is we try to find out the important part, okay, that is worth studying. Okay? So all models are wrong, we know it. We know the capital asset pricing model is wrong. The beta is not really the beta in any sense, but people still use the beta. Okay? Because it is measuring something. Okay? So that's the introduction. Any questions so far? If there's no question, then we can start. We can start. Okay, utility. So what do you know about utility? What do you know about utility? Have you learned anything about utility before? Sorry? Yeah, great. So the utility here may be a little bit different from that. But so, what is utility? What is utility? Utility is obviously a mathematical function. Okay? So what you put in, the utility function, and what you get.
We put in like the level of weight, like how much money or assets we have, and in return we're gonna receive some kind of like a number that can represent like the level of satisfactions and happiness that we have at that time when holding those assets and money.
Okay. So utility is usually a function of something you get, something you consume, and after that it reflects how satisfied, how happy you are. So we are in finance. So utility function is a very broad concept. Okay, we can have a utility of, as I just said, an apple, consuming an apple, give us some utility. Sleeping, give us some utility. Okay, taking classes, give us some utility. So maybe a low level of utility, but still. Okay. So it is a very broad concept. Okay, and here we only care about the utility of earning money. Okay, so of getting return. So utility in economics, we model satisfaction by utility. Okay, because we cannot measure happiness, we cannot just measure how much money you have. Okay, at that time. So utility is a mathematical function that measures the satisfaction of a person. Okay, and a utility function is said to represent preference over some gamble. Why is it gamble? because, as I just said, investment involves randomness. Okay, so suppose we have some gamble, okay, and we have to choose among different gambles. Okay, by making different investment decision, you are actually choosing a different gamble, a different game. So we want to choose an optimal game. Okay, we want to choose an optimal gamble. And how do we choose an optimal gamble? This W is a gamble, so it is random. This U is just some mathematical function. Okay, some simple function. It's just some deterministic function of a random variable. So this UW is also a random variable. Okay, so how do we compare two random variables? They have distribution, they have all kinds of different properties, statistics. How do we compare two random variables? We just do the simplest thing. We just compare their expectation. Okay? So given two games, two gambles, two random outcome, we put it into a function called U, and we evaluate the expectation. If this utility function can represent our preference, okay? Utility function is a function that represents our satisfaction, okay? And we want to choose things, make decisions based on this utility function, okay? So it has to represent our preference, okay? We plug in some random number, we get an expectation of this utility function, and according to this expectation, we make a decision, okay? So it represents preference of a wealth gamble if this expectation is larger than that expectation, is equivalent to saying that this W1 gamble is at least as preferred as W2 gamble. Okay? So if we prefer W1, if we want to take W1, okay, if we only have these two choices, and given these two choices, we will pick W1, then W1 would give us a higher expected utility. Okay? So we need to characterize this utility function. Okay, we want to know what it looks like, what it should behave. So let's look at some examples. Now suppose you are given two choices. Okay, suppose you're given two choices. First, W1 is $5 and W2 is $10. Okay? What would you choose? W2, because it gives you more money. Okay, so you prefer W2. So utility, or the expected utility from W1 should be smaller. And the expected utility from W2. Okay, so you prefer W2. Okay, because W2 is larger than W1. Now we look at risk. Okay, now suppose that W1 has two possibilities. Okay, it is either 5 or 10 with probability half-half. Okay, and similarly W2 can can have two outcomes. Okay, say 5 and 7. Okay, also 50-50. So we have some risk here. Which one will you choose? What? Okay, we choose W1. Why? Because it has a higher chance of getting a larger return. Okay? And this is actually called stochastic dominance, which we are not going to talk about in this class. Okay? W1 will dominate W2 because when we look at the distribution of W1 and W2 with 15%, or when the bad state is realized, then each of them will have the same payoff. If the good state is true, then W1 will dominate W2. Okay, so this is called stochastic dominance, and we should choose W1 over W2. Okay. So here the expected value given by choosing W1 should be larger than the expected utility of W. Okay? Now let's look at another example. Okay. Let's say W1 is certain. Okay? It gives you 5. And W2 is random. Okay, this gives you 5 or 7.5. Also half probability. So which one would you choose? Which one will you choose? Okay, with a small gamble, you may choose either one, but if it is a larger gamble, right, if it is like 0 or 10, or if it is minus 100, some plus 110, okay, if it is minus minus 100 and plus 110, what will you choose? What will you choose? Okay, so this is a certain 5. This is risky. You may lose 100. You may gain 110. Okay? So they have the same expected value. So what will you choose? It is personal. You can choose the what you can choose the beauty. There's no right or wrong answer. But in this course, we assume that the person will choose the first one. Okay? Because the first one is risk-free. The second is risky. Okay? So we would want, or we would assume, that expected value of U1 will be larger. And the expected value of UW. Okay? And how do we achieve these? We have to choose some U function that satisfy these assumptions. Okay? First, we assume that U is strictly increasing. Okay? Strictly increasing meaning that the first derivative is strictly positive. So why? Larger income give us more happiness. Okay? It is almost always true. Okay? Second, the first derivative is strictly decreasing. Okay? So its second derivative is strictly negative. It's less obvious. Why? What will happen if the first derivative is decreasing? So what is derivative? What does derivative means?
The rate of change.
The rate of change? Yeah. So this derivative means at a given level W, if I'm giving you a tiny bit more, how much how much happier you will be. Okay? So we are comparing two things when we say that this first derivative is strictly decreasing. We are comparing two scenarios. Okay? One scenario is that at the beginning you have, say 1. Okay? Now I'm giving you one more, so you have 2. Okay? This is, roughly speaking, the first derivative. Okay? You have just 1, and I'm giving you one more. Okay? This is the first scenario. And the second scenario is you have, say 1,000. I'm giving you one more. Okay? Okay? So when you're still a kid, you have nothing. Okay? In your bank account, in your wallet, you have 1. Okay, $1. And your grandma gives you $1 more. Okay? At that time you are very happy because your fortune doubled. Okay? And now you have much more money in your bank account, and your grandma still gives you just 1, and you feel it. It's nothing. Okay? So you would think that when you have very little, even though I'm giving you just a little bit, you will feel happy, much happy. And when you have a lot, if I'm still giving you that little extra, you'll still be happier, but not much. Okay? So we would assume that the first part is much larger than the second one. Okay? So if you think of it as the first derivative, this is the uw prime, okay, the first derivative evaluated at w equal 1 when w is small. This value is large, or is larger than the first derivative evaluated as 1,000. Okay? So let's say it's larger than 1,000. Okay? So the first derivative is decreasing. Okay? The more you have, the less valuable is an extra dollar. Okay? And after we get this utility function, what we are doing throughout this whole course is that we are thinking how a rational person should make his decision. Okay? By maximizing this method. Okay? By maximizing the expected utility. Okay? Okay, let's look at first simple example. Suppose that UW is the utility function of a person. This utility function satisfies these two assumptions. Okay? So positive first derivative, negative second derivative. W is well. Suppose now there is a chance of a bet. Okay? Of a gamble, of a game. That is a fair game. Okay? That give him or her D or minus D. with same probability, so 50-50, would the person accept the bet? Would the person accept the bet? So what we have these two assumptions. Okay, so we can just try to answer this question with that two assumptions. So suppose that you have W. Suppose that you have W. This is W. Okay. And then now you have the chance of playing this game. This game gives you D or minus D. Okay. So this is plus D. And this is minus D. Okay. We know that utility function is increasing. So if you get plus D, you will have a high utility function, utility value. If you lose, you have a lower utility function value. And we also know that the second derivative is minus, is negative. So if you win, you will get extra utility, and that extra utility is not that much. Okay, so let's say you get a utility here. If you lose, because from this minus D point, you have a lower wealth value, so the derivative, first derivative here is larger. Okay, meaning that from this point W to W minus D, you lose more utility. Okay, so utility would be like something here. So the first derivative at this point is larger. Okay, because your wealth level is low. And when your wealth increases, it becomes flatter and flatter. Okay? At this point, the first derivative is smaller than this point. Okay? So when this x-axis have the same distance, then the y-axis, this increase from minus D to W would be larger than from W to W plus D. Okay? So you will have something like this. Okay? Not very precise, but something like this. Okay? And then we have, if you win, you get this utility. If you lose, you get this utility. Okay? And how does this person make decision? No? Before, one step before. How? What is he comparing? What is he comparing? So he knows. So he has two choices. He can either not play the game. If he decides not to play the game, what does he get? W. Okay? Nothing changed. What is the utility? Or what is the expected utility? The expected utility will be just U W. Okay? Another choice he has is to play the game. And he has to evaluate the expected utility. Okay, what is the expected utility? With 50% chance he wins, he gets this high utility. With 50% chance he loses with this lower utility. So we have to say we have U1, we have U2. We have to compute the expected utility. Okay? If you play the game. What is the expected utility? The expected utility would be just 50% chance winning times U1 plus 50% chance losing times U2. Okay? It is just the middle of U1 and U2. Okay? So it's just U1 and U2. which is around here. Let's say it is U star. Just here. So there are two choices: not to play the game and to play the game. We find the expected utility of each option. We get UW and U star. Okay? And which is larger? UW is larger. Okay, so he choose UW. So he choose not to play. Okay? So this is a simplified example of how this person is making decisions. Okay? So this person would not play the game, would not accept the bet, because the expected utility of accepting is small. Okay? And when this person decline a fair bet, okay, a fair game, we say that this person is risk averse. Okay? He hates risk. Okay? If this risk does not bring this person extra return, then this person would decline the game. Okay? So, more precisely, the definition of risk aversion is that if there is a fair game, epsilon is a zero mean random variable, and we compare the utility of adding this epsilon to some deterministic wealth level, and we find that the utility function of not adding this epsilon is at least as large as the expected utility of adding this random. Okay? So we have this definition of risk aversion. If UW is larger than or equal to the expected value of UW plus epsilon, mathematically we say that this person, this investor, is risk averse if the utility function is concave. What is the definition of a concave function? Should have learned it in real analysis or mathematics. What is the definition of concave function? So a function is concave. A function is concave if the function evaluated as the expectation is larger than the expectation of the function. Okay. This is the definition of concavity. Okay, concave function. And here on the left hand side we have UW. What is UW? UW we can write it as the expectation of W plus epsilon evaluated by this U function. Okay? It is the utility function evaluated at the expectation of W plus epsilon. And this value, if it is larger than the expectation of the utility evaluated at W plus epsilon, then this function is concave. If this function is concave, then we know from the last example that this person would decline a fair bet. Okay? Which means that he hates risk. Okay? So if an investor has a concave utility function, then this investor is risk averse. Okay? So this is one definition of risk aversion, or one way to look at risk aversion. A person would decline a fair bet. Another way of looking at risk aversion is by certainty equivalence. Okay, so what is certainty equivalence? Suppose we have a W tilde. W is your initial wealth, and epsilon is a fair game. So this person is playing a fair game, and he gets W tilde. And the expected utility of playing this fair game is the same as the Okay. Okay. Let's do it again. This is another way of looking at risk aversion. Suppose that you have some initial wealth, W. Suppose also that you are playing a game with epsilon. Okay? It is a fair game, so expected value of epsilon is 0. And what does risk aversion means is that the expected utility of playing this game is the same as the utility of not playing this game with a lower value of wealth. Okay? And this lower value of wealth is called the certainty equivalence, okay, of the game. Okay? So here you have W plus epsilon, W tilde. It is equivalent to not playing the game as if you have a smaller value of wealth. Okay? In other words, suppose now you have W, and I am forcing you to play a game, to play a bet with me. If you don't play, I will fail you. Okay, so you have to play. But I give you another option. You can give me some money, and then I will let go of you. Okay? So you are willing to pay me something. Okay? So after you pay me something, you get C, and this is equivalent to play the game. Okay? And this amount of money is called risk premium. So this risk premium, this terminology will be used only in this chapter. Okay, so after that, we may have some other risk premium, okay, which has nothing to do with this pi here. Okay, so once again, what is risk aversion? There are two ways of looking at it. The first is that you will decline a fair bet. The second, if you cannot decline a fair bet, you have to play it, then you are willing to pay me something to avoid playing the game. Okay? And graphically, there are two. Graphically, you can look at it here. So you have W. This is more or less the same graph I just plotted. You have W. We are forcing you to play a fair game with plus delta or minus delta. And what is your expected utility? The expected utility will be this one. Okay? At the beginning, you have UW. Okay? At the beginning, you have UW. So if you have the choice, you will choose not to play this game. Okay? This means that you are risk averse. Okay? This is the first way of looking at it. The second way is that if you are forced to play this game, to play this bet, then you will get this expected UW tilde, and you are willing to pay this pi. Okay? Because this expected utility, expected U tilde, is the same as this utility evaluated at W minus pi. Okay? So you are willing to pay me pi to avoid this game. Okay? So these are just the same thing. We are looking at it vertically in the graph, or we are looking at it horizontally in this graph. Looking at it vertically means that you decline the game. Looking at it horizontally, it means that you're willing to pay me something to avoid the game. Okay, so it's basically the same thing. So, any questions so far? If there's no question, let's go to break first before we go to another topic. Okay? So 15 minutes? Or, okay? So 15 minutes break.